Ryan Reynolds made the announcement of Hugh Jackman's return to his biggest role, plus technically his arrival in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Deadpool 3, which is set to arrive in theaters September 6, 2024. But until that time, what the heck has Hugh Jackman been up to? That's the real question. So, I'm Adam Andrews, and today on Where Are They Now, I'm going to talk all about Hugh Jackman, his life, his career highlights, and apparently flawless reputation. Let's get into it. Hugh Michael Jackman was born October 12, 1968 in Sydney, Australia to Grace McNeil and Christopher John Jackman. His parents were actually English born and came to Australia in 1967 as part of the 10-pound palms immigration scheme back in the day. Because of that, Hugh has the benefit of dual citizenship. For Hugh, that means he has both Australian and British citizenship. Hugh's parents divorced when he was about 8 years old, and he stayed with his dad and two brothers in Australia while his mother moved back to England with Jackman's two sisters, one of which being a half-sister. As for his education, Jackman went to primary school at Pymble Public School and then attended the all-boys Knox Grammar School on Sydney's Upper North Shore, where he starred in its 1985 production of My Fair Lady, and he even became the school captain in 1986. Hugh spent a gap year in 1987 working as a gym teacher at Uppingham School in England. Hugh came back and studied at the University of Technology in Sydney, graduating in 1991 with a BA in Communications. In his final year of university, he took a drama course to make up additional credits and performed as the lead in Václav Havel's The Memorandum. Now, after obtaining his BA, Jackman decided to say screw it and pursue acting. He went to the Actors Centre in Sydney, completing the one-year course called The Journey, and then attended the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts of Edith Cowan University in Perth, graduating in 1994. Now, on the night of his final graduation performance, Jackman received a phone call offering him a role on the drama series Corelli, Jackman's first major professional job and where he met his future wife, Deborah Lee Furness. After Corelli, Jackman went into the theater scene in Melbourne, playing Gaston in the local production of Beauty and the Beast in 1996. His early work in film at this time were Erskineville Kings and Paperback Hero, both in 1999. And he also had some television work in Law of the Land, Halifax FP, Blue Heelers, and Banjo Patterson's The Man from Snowy River. Jackman started to become known outside of Australia in 1998 when he played the leading role of Curly in London's Royal National Theatre's production of Oklahoma, which earned him an Olivier Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical. And now we move smoothly and somewhat suddenly onto Jackman's breakthrough role playing Wolverine in Bryan Singer's X-Men in the year 2000. Even though the role was originally written for Russell Crowe, he instead suggested Jackman for the part, which Jackman's wife apparently found ridiculous. His role in the first X-Men movie earned him a Saturn Award for Best Actor. Apparently, Wolverine was a tough role for Jackman. He had very few lines, but a lot of emotion to convey in those lines. So, apparently, to prepare, he watched Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry movies and Mel Gibson in Mad Max 2, since they were guys who had relatively little dialogue, but who you still knew and felt. Jackman was also adamant about doing his own stunts for the movie, which almost always pays off for actors. Jackman also had to get used to wearing Wolverine's claws, which he said he wore every day in his living room. Also, Hugh is a quite tall guy, standing at 6'3", and as the comic character is a whole foot shorter at 5'3", the filmmakers would shoot Jackman at unusual heights or only from the waist up to make him appear shorter than he actually was, and a lot of the time, his co-stars wore platform shoes. Hugh also got extremely jacked for the role, bench pressing over 300 pounds for the third film, which leads to me talking about the fact that the role of Wolverine would become one of Jackman's signature roles, earning him the Guinness World Record for longest career as a live-action Marvel superhero, which now that he is going to be in Deadpool, he will regain. He reprised the role in 2003's X2, 2006's X-Men The Last Stand, 2009's prequel X-Men Origins Wolverine, a cameo in 2011's X-Men First Class, 2013's The Wolverine, 2014's X-Men Days of Future Past, an uncredited cameo in 2016's follow-up X-Men Apocalypse, and in 2017 he reprised the role yet again for Logan. Now for that last one, both Jackman's performance and the film itself were critically acclaimed, and it is regarded as one of the greatest superhero films of all time. For his 17 years spanning performance as Wolverine, Jackman made it to #1 on the Hollywood Reporter's greatest superhero movie performances of all time list. Now Jackman announced that Logan would be the final time that he would play the role, but I guess that's kinda changed, huh? After and during his time as Wolverine, Jackman starred as Leopold in the 2001 romantic comedy film Kate and Leopold, a role for which he received a Best Actor Golden Globe nomination, and he also hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live in 2001. In 2004, Jackman won the Tony Award and the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Actor in a Musical for his 2003/2004 Broadway portrayal of Australian songwriter and performer Peter Allen in the hit musical The Boy from Oz. After 2003's X2, Jackman played the title role of Gabriel Van Helsing in the 2004 movie, and Jackman even hosted the Tony Awards in 2003, 2004, and 2005, garnering positive reviews and earning him an Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Performer in a variety, musical, or comedy program. After this time, the actor began to find more and more Hollywood success, starring in more critically acclaimed films. For example, in 2005, Jackman starred in Christopher Nolan's film The Prestige alongside Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Scarlett Johansson. In the film, Jackman portrayed an aristocratic magician who builds up a rivalry with another magician, basing his portrayal on a 1950s-era American magician named Channing Pollock. The Prestige was universally acclaimed and a box office success. Now the next year, in 2006, Jackman starred as 3 different characters in Darren Aronofsky's science fiction film The Fountain. He played Tommy Creo, a modern-day neuroscientist, Captain Thomas Creo, a Spanish conquistador in 1532, and an astronaut from the future named Tom, all trying to find the secret to eternal life. The movie is extremely good and very interesting, and Jackman has said it was his most difficult film thus far due to the physical and emotional demands of the part. This was in 2006, the same year of X-Men The Last Stand, and 2 animated films for the incredibly busy actor, Happy Feet and Flushed Away, where he voiced Roddy, a very fancy pet rat who ends up being flushed down a toilet into the London sewer system. In 2007, Jackman became the patron of the Actors Centre in Australia, where he studied. In 2011, Jackman had a one-man show at the Curran Theatre in San Francisco, which was a bit of a celebration of musical theater and of Jackman himself, backed by a 17-piece orchestra. He then returned to Broadway in a new show, Hugh Jackman Back on Broadway at the Broadhurst Theatre in 2011 and 2012. Also in 2012, Jackman starred as Jean Valjean in Tom Hooper's Les Miserables, an adaptation of the musical. For the role, he lost 15 pounds and later had to regain 30 pounds to mirror his character's newfound success. He won the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy in January 2013 for this performance and received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Also in 2013, Jackman starred in Denis Villeneuve's mystery thriller Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal. In 2015, Jackman made a national tour of Australia with his show Broadway to Oz. He performed a range of songs from Broadway musicals from Les Miserables to a Peter Allen tribute with a 150-piece orchestra, choir, and backup dancers. The following year, in 2016, Jackman played fictional ski coach Bronson Peary opposite Taron Egerton in Eddie the Eagle, and then in 2017, the same year as Logan, Jackman also starred as P.T. Barnum in the musical The Greatest Showman, for which he received a Golden Globe for Best Actor, his 3rd Golden Globe nomination, and a Grammy Award for Best Soundtrack Album. In 2019, Jackman went on his first world tour called The Man, The Music, The Show, performing songs from the album The Greatest Showman, original motion picture soundtrack, and other Broadway/Hollywood musical numbers. After this, in the Queen's 2019 birthday honors, Jackman was appointed a Companion of the Order of Australia for eminent service to the performing arts as an acclaimed actor and performer, and to the global community, particularly as an advocate for poverty eradication. Speaking of the Queen and all that stuff, Jackman was actually asked to consider taking on the role of James Bond before Daniel Craig was chosen to play the character, but he turned it down due to other commitments. There was also basically no drama surrounding this actor. In contrast, it's kind of practically all positive. Jackman is also a major philanthropist. He advocates for microcredit, which is basically very small loans to prospective entrepreneurs in impoverished countries. And by extension, he is a supporter of Muhammad Yunus, a microcredit pioneer and the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize winner. Jackman also uses his Twitter account for charity, using it in 2009 to donate $50,000 each to two separate charities, Charity Water and Operation Hope. Jackman launched the Laughing Man Coffee Company as well in 2011 after a World Vision trip to Ethiopia in 2009, with two cafes opening up in Lower Manhattan and an online store, with all the profits going to Laughing Man Foundation, which supports educational programs, community development, and social entrepreneurs around the world. So, there you have it, Hugh Jackman. Most recently, he starred in a comedy drama called Bad Education in 2009. He is in a film called The Sun this year opposite Laura Dern, and obviously, we now know he will appear in the MCU's Deadpool movie. I've been Adam Andrews with Where Are They Now, and until next time, stay safe and well informed out there.